Strike A Chord Podcast, music chit chat with your hosts Valentina Gikowski and Amla Piriakaba.
Hey everyone, welcome to Strike A Chord. We have the wonderful Nina Rose here with us. Nina is a beautiful friend of mine and a wonderful musician, plays the guitar and has an amazing voice and writes her own music. Thanks for being here.
Nina,
thank you.
how
Hi
you going?
everybody. I'm very well. Thanks for having me here today. It's
It's the second show back from a bit of a gap. But yeah, welcome.
Thank you. Amla, for that intro.
All
Should have
right.
had a drum roll.
Tell us a bit about yourself. Like I know you're into the acoustic scene, the folk.
Yeah. So I'm
everything
a
like that.
singer-songwriter, play guitar and sing. When people ask me to describe the style of music, I actually go, this is a hard question. It's always been quite folky and acoustic, but recently I've found it's also got a bit of country.
I was going to say that because I was listening to Patterns.
Yeah, it's got a bit of country
It's got
feel.
a lot of country feel in there, yeah.
And then also some of my songs I think have a bit more of an R&B feel as well.
Yeah,
Bit of
yeah.
a funky beat and a bit more of a groove. And I grew up listening to a lot of 90s R&B, which I love. So I think, it's hard to describe it a style, but it's a bit of a blend.
But I actually love it because I listen to your EP and it's all very different.
Yeah.
I think my favourite one was Baby Girl. I think that's my favourite one.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a special one.
Believe it or not, I'm not too much into lyrics, but I listen to melody. And I think the melody was fantastic. The arrangement was really good.
Yeah.
So,
That was a
but it's
special
very
one.
different to the others.
Yes. Yeah. That's a bit. That was a special one that I wrote for a friend, who was going through a difficult time. She was pregnant and had her baby, but when she had the baby was very sick, and they were at this time where the baby had to go to hospital a lot, and it was this very stressful, traumatic time for the family.
Okay.
And so I wrote that song for the friend who was going through
nice.
that, and so that friend who's now got this beautiful 6-year-old girl. She goes, I can't listen to that song without crying because it takes her back to that time. But yeah, I still love that song.
I like that one.
Yeah.
But it's quite a diverse EP. I was listening to it and everything's different. Every track's different.
Yeah.
And it's very it is very acoustic, but it's folky, but it's also something else. What is that something else?
That's the Nina flavour.
I love it. a bit of Nina here, a bit of Nina there.
Yeah. No, I mean, I
awesome,
think
awesome.
some of those tracks were really stripped back. Like the second track was Hold On, and that had my friend Thierry playing guitar. Very stripped back, and then some of them was a bit more, and it had that kind of folk country feel.
Yeah.
But it does, Amla and I were talking about this recently, that I recorded that back in 2018, and I think I released it in 2019.
Okay.
With the Butt, actually, at Mark
okay.
Street.
Yeah.
That was a really, really great night. And that was pre-COVID. So I felt like, in a way,
just pre-COVID.
I released the EP and then COVID hit, and you were kind of stopped, prevented from going further and taking that any
How'd you
further.
find that?
Oh, it was awful, like so many Melbourne musicians. And
But you just released.
I released my little baby, my little Into the World.
You released it, and then there was a gate.
Yes. And I think you definitely felt it. You
Oh, yeah.
definitely felt it. And then in some ways, your mind says, should I keep doing music? Should I not? You
For
put
all
so
of us,
much.
I think.
Exactly. You put so much effort, you put money, you put time, energy into a project, and then something like COVID happens. So, as I was saying with Amla, like when you have songs that you've recorded and written, may have written 10 years ago, recorded 4 or 5 years ago, you still love them and you're very proud of them, but you're also like, it's not exactly what I'm doing right now. And you want new music to show what you're going through now, what you're writing, what you're expressing now. So that's kind of been what I'm trying to focus on at the moment, trying to record new music and get it out there. And that also has its challenges.
I was going to say, it's pressure.
Know.
It's pressure to release new music.
It's pressure, and it's also, it's expensive. It's not cheap to do that kind of stuff. But you also want that stuff so that you can move forward and you can send it to radio stations. You can send it to, if you're applying for festivals.
But people expect it. they
People
expect
expect
something
it.
new too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like my sort of goal for this year is to release something new every month.
Yes.
Starting
huge.
Yeah, starting from I don't know next month.
I mean, you do it all yourself. I was saying to Nina,
I do everything myself, so it
very
does take
impressive.
time.
Yeah.
Look, it saves me a lot of money, but it takes a lot of time to get it right.
Yeah.
And now, like talking with Amla, like I'm going through the stage of mixdown and mastering and all of down that road, which is another rabbit warren. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. I want to release something every month, but starting from I don't know
Next month.
next month,
And then next month you go, next month.
yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I've been I think that's the thing. Like, I've been watching Amla record her. She's working on 2 tracks at the moment, and watching that process, and then that kind of does inspire me to like get the ball rolling to start my stuff. But yeah, it does come with its challenges. But I think it's also exciting when you can get some new music out there.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
And you have quite a few. I've listened to a few of your upcoming songs yet to be recorded, and they're so beautiful and again quite different to. And we were talking about this. It's almost like you evolve between that pre-lockdown time and now. We've all evolved somewhat.
We have.
And I would say a lot of our music and even like genre styles, it's just becoming a blend of.
Yeah.
I mean, even with your music, I've been listening to it. It's quite a fusion.
It's new genres. And that's the challenge, I think, sometimes with these platforms, where when you go through distribution and you go through your playlists and everything like that, the genres get a bit confusing.
And limiting, maybe.
Yeah, and limiting. Yeah, you're right. Just hold it there for a minute.
Hold that.
Yeah. Just want to check, because sometimes these things, technology.
It's
you
like
wanna
it
make
wasn't
sure it's-
recording.
Can you imagine?
1 hour in.
Oh, yeah, I know. Oh, Lena, can you come back and do another? We stuffed that up. Anyway. So we're on the genres can be limiting, and it affects creativity sometimes. Saying, I want to do this, I want to do this sort of genre, but on the other hand, the genre can actually help you go into something can just help you start.
Yes.
You know, if you say, I want to create something that's folky, you start, and then it ends up being country.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. And it depends on who you play with, because that also affects where the song is going, where the style is going, and that's been fun as well. Recently, I've been playing with another guitarist, Sasha, and he's kind of adding his own little bit of flavour to the songs. Amla comes on and does some harmonies, some flute, some violin, and it's really lovely.
On that with Amla, you guys have been doing a few videos with harmonies and things and cats and meows and
Cats and meows.
yeah, that's right.
Who doesn't want to hear a cat meowing in harmony?
That should be something that we do later.
I find those clips very, very amusing and awesome.
I think that was
from boredom.
Yes, it was probably us trying to cheer ourselves up and have a bit of fun.
But all right, so you guys are together quite often, right? Nearly every day.
Yes.
Or is it every day?
We are housemates.
Yeah. So every day. So do you find that you guys only talk about music, or everything revolves around that?
We talk about chips a lot, potatoes. Comes up a lot when we're hungry.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're hungry a lot. We actually have quite worldly topics, I feel. We talk about life and, what is the meaning of life?
Yeah.
And then we go, I'm hungry, I feel like potatoes.
Yeah,
And then
it can go quite philosophical, and then to fried chips.
and then Nina will sometimes just sing a note and go harmonise that.
Yeah.
She'll sing a song and go, do you remember what key it was originally in back in the 90s? We play these little games.
Amla has an ability. I'm not sure if you listeners know. Amla has an ability to know the key of the original song. So if I'm thinking of Man in the Mirror, I'll go,
really?
You're gonna make a change.
You actually sang in the original key.
Oh my goodness, I never do that.
I didn't know that.
She can think back and know the original key.
It's a very strange thing.
Well, she's got perfect pitch too, so that might
But I don't
contribute.
get how.
But you don't think about it.
Because a lot of
But it's
these
the
things I've
memory.
only seen once or twice, growing up, but I still remember the original key. I've only
Do you
messed
see
it up
dead
once.
people?
No. I mean,
do.
maybe I do, but you don't. I see chips.
I see dead potatoes.
Anyway, moving back to Nina.
Moving back to music. It has been really lovely having a housemate who shares the musical stuff. Just recently they had mariachi rehearsal in our lounge room.
Oh, how good is that?
I got to listen and go, oh my goodness, there's some talented people here.
Were they in the whole get
No.
up?
They weren't in the hats.
No,
and everything.
Alejandro has a rule that you got to pay me to wear the suit on it. So like, there's a different fee for the suit, and then
I know, Alejandro. I can picture him.
Yeah.
It's a different fee, man. Different fee, man.
So yeah, there's lots of music in the house, and then there's also lots of other things.
sorry, I just thought of something. Can I share it? I mean, no, I don't know if it's too intimate.
We can always edit
Do
it.
share.
We can always edit
Do
it.
share. We need more viewers.
I do love Nita's quirky ways, so she needs to use the bathroom. She'll grab her guitar and sit on the toilet and do something.
I need to rethink if this is going to be edited out by do I
Yeah.
take the guitars. It helps relax.
You should probably have a one that stays in there on a stand.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I like the idea. I can't really do it with flute though. It's not quite the same.
No, it's not. It's not.
So, at least with the guitar, you're using your hands. I don't know, flute, both hands are kind of ready.
Maybe the best thing is just to sing in there.
Yeah.
Probably
yeah.
the most
Acoustics are
hygienic.
good.
I
That's
promise
too
you it is
funny.
hygienic. I have a special guitar.
A toilet guitar.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I have a
Anyway,
question for you, actually.
Yeah.
I'm steering away from the laughter topics. I want to know what inspired you to do music and how you got into the actual music making itself, and
I
which
like
music. There's two questions in
Me
here, and
gusta. Me gusta.
there's another question in there. I'm just getting excited now, so I don't actually know this
Yeah.
about you,
Yeah.
and also who your influences are. I don't know if I said that correctly, but yeah.
Cool.
you did.
So, I definitely grew up in a family we were surrounded by music. When we'd have my dad's family's from Malaysia. So when we go back to Malaysia, there'd always be like sing-alongs. My uncle would have the
Awesome.
guitar singing.
Awesome.
And I grew up with that. So I always loved, singing. As a kid, I loved Mariah Carey. I was
Yes.
obsessed with Mariah Carey, and I always loved singing. And it wasn't until I was probably in high school that I picked up the guitar. And then by that stage, I was like, oh, no, I don't like pop and R&B. That's terrible. I like all the 70s folk musicians like James Taylor.
Yeah, you wanted to be
I wanted to be
the
cool.
black sheep.
Yeah, exactly. I liked Joni Mitchell, Joan
Yeah.
Baez, Leonard Cohen, Bob Dylan, a lot of the folky 70s
Yeah.
music. But at the same time, when I was, 14, 15, just picking up the guitar, starting to learn a few songs, I remember really loving Jewel because she was
yeah.
a female guitarist that I saw.
She had a really nice voice as well.
Yeah.
Jewel, and also Tracy Chapman, who I still love today. Tracy Chapman, amazing. And then I think over the years there have been lots of different influences, too many to name, but that could have been soul, funk, R&B, folk, from many different genres. Local artists as well, people that I see playing in Melbourne.
Yeah,
I'm
of
inspired
course.
by them. But yeah, that was definitely the start of when I first started playing guitar and writing songs. And I think it's always changing.
Yeah.
Your influences are always
Did
changing.
you find it fulfilling straight away when you grabbed the guitar,
Yes.
or did you find it a bit frustrating?
Well, I never actually had formal lessons, and so I think in some ways, for me, that was a good thing. My dad taught me a few chords, and then I just kept playing, and then I'd look on the internet and look for tabs just to find the chords. And so I kind of, in some ways, taught myself, and then I'd meet friends who play guitar, and they'd teach me a few extra things.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it, and it was motivated by myself wanting to do it. It
Yeah.
wasn't your parents saying, my little sister did violin, and I think she really didn't like going, you have homework, you have practice, that's that
Yeah.
structure.
the normal way of going
Yes,
through.
yeah. And then years later, I thought, oh, I'm really annoyed that I didn't learn formally because I can't read music and I can't
Doesn't
follow
matter,
this,
though.
this, and this. But as you evolve your own style, it goes, okay, we're all different types of musicians.
Different people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. And it doesn't matter as long as you are enjoying it, enjoying the music. I think that's the main thing. If you're in-
Definitely,
Yeah.
I totally agree. The music there is there to be enjoyed, whether you're a musician or not.
yeah.
When you're
Yeah.
a musician, you just take it a bit more seriously, I think.
Yeah.
Or not.
Yeah. I mean, there's also people who are like, I'm not musical, but I love music, and they are appreciated as music, and we need those people
Yes.
to come to our gigs.
Yes, that's a good statement.
Shout out.
There was something else that you wanted to ask on top of that? Or you said you wanted to ask something?
Oh, no, that was
That was
it?
the
That was-
influences. So, yeah.
But leading on, I've noticed you've been, because Nina speaks fluent Spanish as well, and you do listen to a lot of
Yeah,
wonderful
I do actually.
music. From,
Yeah. I love a lot of music from Cuba.
Ah, nice.
Um,
The old style, son style? Or
yes, but then also I like a lot of like
You're going to say bachata.
no, not bachata. I do like a bit of bachata. No, more like modern. There's a Mexican singer-songwriter called Natalia Lafourcade. I love her stuff, and I love Julieta Venegas. So they're kind of a bit more. I wouldn't, not necessarily pop, maybe pop folk.
Mainstream? Yeah.
Mainstream, but and then even recently I've been trying to learn the words of an old Shakira song for my next gig,
cool.
which has been very challenging.
You're going to do the same sort of
Dance.
song style? Dance? Yeah? Dance?
No, I'm not doing the
Or are you going
dance.
to try and emulate her singing?
No. And Amla will play flute on that song, which is exciting.
So we go do 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 do.
You'll know.
do.
You'll probably know the key.
Yeah.
The original key.
C sharp minor.
But we're playing it in. But
We're playing it in D. No. We're playing it in
lower.
I can't remember what
I
we're
think
playing
a
it
little
in.
bit lower than.
I can't
I've
remember.
got the original
Come
key in my
on.
head. We did
That's-
one rehearsal.
Give her a break now.
Is it B?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit lower than the original
Yeah.
key.
Yeah. That's good.
So yeah, I do. I learnt Spanish, and I do love singing in Spanish. Sometimes when there's fluent Spanish speakers in the audience, I get nervous, but
Oh, you're pretty
but
fluent.
they're very kind and
I think singing in Spanish is very fluent and very easy to do, even if you don't speak Spanish. Like the words are so flowy, and you can
Yeah.
once you get into it,
Yeah.
it's like they flow. You know,
Yes.
with some languages, it's quite hard to
English
have
being one of
that
those.
flow. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
English
in
doesn't have
Spanish
that, yeah.
and French as well. That's what
In
I
French, I
heard, and
can't
French.
pronounce my R's, so
But
I'm
I heard
screwed.
that
I
those
struggle with
old
French.
chansons and stuff like that, they're quite flowy.
Yeah.
And when the lyrics are quite flowy and the language is quite flowy, the music's quite flowy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about German.
Do you sing in Spanish?
I do
Valentino?
sing in Spanish, but I'm not very fluent in speaking it. But I understand
you can sing it,
nearly
yeah.
all of it. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, I used to be able to speak it fluently in that, but you know, when you don't do it and
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't speak it and,
Yep.
you converse in 3 other different languages, it's a bit hard.
It loses its spot in your brain.
Yeah. I find myself thinking about what I'm going to say next sometimes, because at home we speak Macedonian, then I
Yeah.
speak English, and then I speak Spanish for some people. And then your mind gets
Yeah.
confused, and
Yeah,
you,
totally.
and you have to think about what you're going to say.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
am I getting old?
Yeah.
Senile?
You know 3 languages. That's more than me.
You know the language of music.
Yeah.
I'm still learning that. But
And the
anyway,
music pitch.
I know the alphabet to Auslan, but I don't know how to use it. It's random fact.
You know the language of potatoes.
Yes.
So, how old were you when you picked up the guitar, or when you started?
14, 15.
So that
I
was-
was year 10. Year 10. So yeah, 14,
And-
turning 15.
And you didn't look back.
No. But I think it was probably a lot to do with the songwriting. The songwriting and the singing. The guitar being the instrument I love the guitar.
It was your transportation.
Yeah, exactly. And I think my guitar skills have not improved a lot over the years. They've stayed at a pretty steady level, but it's more, working on different songwriting or working on different things you can do with your voice.
But it's your go-to tool to start
Yes.
your songwriting, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
And that's a very important thing. People that have a piano or
Yes.
people that have a guitar, you need something there because lyrics complement melody, melody complement
Yeah.
lyrics. So
Yeah.
it's quite. I think you've got the upper hand knowing how to play an instrument.
Yes, yes.
Whereas someone who doesn't know how to play an instrument and just goes out and writes lyrics, they write lyrics, I think, from a different perspective.
Yes.
I'm not saying that they're good or bad, but it's a different perspective. But when you get someone who's going to arrange or do a melody to the lyrics, I think it's harder for someone who can't
Play
really
the
show
actual-
you and play that melody.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's something that you can develop as well. Like I know some lyricists in the past, some quite famous ones, they never knew how to play an instrument. Then when they started getting popular and they started writing lyrics, then they learn how to play an instrument, whether it's piano or guitar. It just made things a hell of a lot easier. You know, you can at least give the arranger a bit of an idea of where it's going, because after all, if they're your lyrics, you want it to have justice somehow from a musical perspective.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, definitely.
but yeah, it's good. So
Well, that's actually this is the interviewee turning the question on the interviewer.
yeah, go for it.
But
There's no interview. It's just a podcast.
when you write a song, possibly using violin and the looper, that's a bit different in a way, I guess, because if I sit down and write a song, I'm playing around with chords or playing around with a melody. How does it happen when you're trying to do something on the looper, the violin, and vocals?
That's a good question. I think on improv, I just improvise it, and I've just been lucky enough, because I'm still new in this, I've just been lucky enough that the two songs I'm recording ended up being vocal songs that just came through improv. It was just like finding a hook came out of the improv through the looper.
Yeah.
And I went, I like this hook, and then I just started adding words, which is, again, adding words is new for me. Just through improv. And then I'm almost just hearing the chords before I play it and just go, what's this combination of what do you call it? Progression.
Yeah.
Chord progression going to
Yeah.
do, and then I'll just make up a melody. So it is a bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love that we all have different ways of
Yeah.
writing music.
how important is improv?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How important is improv? That's what we talked about
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
Creativity.
Yeah.
So you see how she starts on improv. You'd probably start on lyrics. I'd probably start on having an argument with someone else. Having an argument about
Road rage.
why musicians aren't making enough money.
I could join that argument.
So, but that's another approach.
Yeah.
Some people have the approach of they're writing lyrics or they're writing a poem.
Yep.
And not all
Mm.
poems can be put into a melody,
Yeah.
or it's just a poem. It's a poem, but when you start writing, I think music, it's like I'm gonna take for example the easiest one, pop music. You start with an A B, and then you put a bridge or a pre-chorus or whatever, and then you've got a structure. But with improv, everything just comes out. So, but you can pick and choose from those little things.
You might find a nice little hook or melody that you go, that was really nice. Let's
Yeah.
repeat that.
Yeah. But I think it's very important to be in that state of mind, like in that state of mind. Whether it's sometimes things can come about from feeling on top of the world. Sometimes can come about from feeling shit.
Yeah.
But both with lyrics and music. So that state of mind needs to be that driver.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Sometimes I will have ideas, if I'm driving, or I think one time I was out near Gippsland. I was walking somewhere in the forest, and then I was having an idea of a, kind of like a rap, And so then I was recording it on my phone because I was like, I'm going to forget this. So I have to remember to go back to my phone and look back on all these different song ideas that I've got recorded, because sometimes I might be driving and I might have like a little melody idea, or because you just make things up as you're driving,
Yeah.
make little songs up. And I think that sometimes you're like, I could go back and make something from that.
And that brings something else, the technology. Some people are really scared of technology, but technology actually enables that. If it was like 20 years ago when I was young, I used to have a tape recorder. You're not going to bring that everywhere. You can press play and record. You know?
Oh, I do miss the tapes.
Yeah, but that's another thing, right?
Well, yeah, it's very convenient.
It's very convenient.
To have something
One
on your
comes up,
phone
bang.
you could record,
Yeah.
or if you want to record a video of something, playing something, singing something, you've got it there. You've got it in your hand, in your pocket.
Exactly, and that's another thing. It reduces the excuses, I think, of having the technology. You're going, oh, I can't because I can't record this, I can't record that. Yes, you can. You can just record it on your phone and just do some things. But I think it also helps, like if you're working with someone, if you're collaborating with someone. Years ago, you had to write charts and write this and write that. Everything is like record this, record that, and that's how it happens. And now, with AI coming into the picture, I think things are going to change a hell of a lot and going to make things easier. But I think these things that we think about, our creativity, sometimes we find excuses for our creativity too. Like if you can't be stuffed, you're finding excuses to this, to do that. And then when that time comes where we were talking about before, the pressure of releasing something, and then you become a bit more stressed, and that's when the creativity slowly drops. That's what I've noticed with myself.
Yep.
And then you think, oh shit, I've got to get this done, but there's nothing happening. It's like writer's block,
Definitely.
But
Definitely.
I think that in itself, you can break that cycle sometimes with someone else and collaborating.
Yes. Yeah. They give you a bit of a push, a bit of a motivation to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. There are times where you sometimes feel like, oh God, I can't, I can't be bothered going out there and saying, come to my gig, when, last time I've already told people about this gig. But, having some collaboration, working with other people, getting inspired, it does
It's always good.
Yeah.
Always, and also from a recording perspective, like recording can be such a solitary thing where if you're going to record on your own, you're in there recording, and you think this is not going anywhere, and then you bring someone else in and they like give you a bit of open up your ears and think, and then you add on to that, and then the things start flowing again, and that's very important for us musicians to have that creativity and those things to bounce off one another.
Exchange,
Dynamics, and things change.
I heard that you've released something recently and it's getting a bit of radio play.
It is getting a bit of radio play.
Very exciting.
It's very exciting. I'm excited for any play. Whether it's radio, whether it's home.
There's some rotation everywhere.
I think and it's not even on Spotify, so I'm quite happy about that.
So question, as a musician, did you get everything recorded, everything finished, and then did you start sending it out digitally to radio stations? Or
digitally. There is no physical copy of this album as yet. I wanted to see how I'm going to go with these digital downloads.
Okay.
And they're available on my website for purchase, but with radio stations and people who I think that should have that copy, I give them the digital copy anyway, because promotions and so on and so forth. But believe it or not, community radio still works. People still, have it in their community, and people are still doing it. And I think it's a great thing. And I think, when you release an album that's taken you a long time, like it took me about maybe just on 2 years to end to release it, on and off, of course. It's something that you've put a lot of time and effort in, but when you release it, it's like when it's done, it's done. What now?
Yeah.
It's like, all right, now, all right, there's a bit of promotion, bit of this, bit of that, but it's always that thing where you're on a high, before you release it, and then it's released, and then you think, oh well, that was 2 years.
Where's my prize?
Sometimes you feel entitled.
It's like a video game at the end. You're like, oh, it's done.
It's done.
What now?
It's like, and it's good to hear it on radio. It's good to hear it on community radio, and I'm getting really good feedback from it. And I'm not boasting, but there should be good feedback because there is some really good music in there, some really good musicians in there. Like yours truly.
Yeah.
It was
You
just
know?
hilarious yesterday. I was ready to do that
it
interview on
just come up, did it?
3CR and it was playing and I'm like, it's flamenco. And I just thought, it's not going to be Valentino just because it's flamenco. It doesn't- and then I heard at the end the
Valentino.
announcer, Joe, going, that was Valentino. I was like,
It wasn't the one that you were playing on, that's why.
No.
You wasn't familiar with you.
But I think it's important, like you said, sometimes you finish a project and then it's like there's a bit of a drop. But
Yeah.
like I think you should take the time to be proud of what you've done. Get the musicians together who recorded and celebrate. You know, go out to a bar, have a drink, and say, yeah, we're proud of this because there is so much work involved, and sometimes we forget to go, oh, hang on, I just did something really great. Like, you know, Amla's getting to the end of the program with the Boite,
yeah.
you know, and Sunday's going to be the big finale
Nina's
gig.
joining me, of course.
I'm doing backing vocals.
Awesome.
But at the end of that, you know, whenever it is, get together with some of the people from that group and say, we're
Just
really
have
proud.
some potatoes.
Yeah. Have a celebrate in it whatever way you want to and say, we're proud that we did this. And then moving on to the next project.
You got a point there. And I haven't done yet. I've been planning on doing it. But I want to do it like probably in the summer when it's all
When
a
it's
bit
a bit
more warmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Fair enough. Fair
and do
enough.
something outside, have a jam and you
Yeah.
know, at the same time. And
Yeah.
and you're right because you got to acknowledge it. You got to acknowledge the people as well.
And if there's going to be food, you have to invite me as well.
Of course. Especially if there's chips.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I think sometimes we do forget to acknowledge, okay, I actually have come so far in this period of time, or I have grown as an artist, or I have, I'm proud of something that I've done. We forget about that because it's with a lot of pressure and there's a lot of that voice going,
What's next?
We have a voice that's comparing ourselves to other people and other musicians,
that's
saying,
always-
oh, this person's doing this amazing thing. But we forget to actually give ourselves a little bit of credit and go, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Pat on the back.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're 100% on that. And
I'm
I
a
think
wise person, Valentino.
Nina, you should have your own show.
you should join us. I don't know how we're going to fit other guests, but we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. We'll hire a garage or something, another garage.
Well, I should also, to anyone listening, I should plug my next gig.
Yes, I was about to
course.
ask, when
Of
is
course.
your next gig?
23rd.
It is on July the 23rd, a Sunday afternoon. So it's a very kind of good time for some people, especially people like
Some people.
some people. Sunday afternoon. For like, I've got friends who've got kids. Some of them might bring their kids down.
I love a Sunday afternoon gig.
Sunday afternoon is a very good time.
It's a very relaxed time.
Yeah, exactly. And you're not worrying about if you've got work the next day, you can still get back, home in time. It's at a little bar called the Merry Bar in Preston, Gilbert Road, Preston. It's going to be very relaxed.
Cool.
So yeah, I'll be playing there.
Will someone flood it?
Sasha will play guitar. Amla will do a bit of flute, violin, backing vocals. Yeah, it's going to be lovely.
Awesome,
I think it's going to be very, very chill.
I like those gigs where they're nice and chilled, it's relaxed. You can experiment a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And things work and some things don't work. But and that's where hopefully you get the people who ignore those mistakes.
Yeah.
And you could just
I think the mistakes are part of it.
Yeah,
And sometimes
yeah,
you can
yeah.
just have a laugh.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
sometimes it's a terrible mistake. You're like, oh, that was terrible. But sometimes the mistakes, it's just part of it.
It's just
And
part
we're
of it.
human.
We're human.
Yeah. And I think if you learn from that mistake, that's a good thing.
Yes.
But if you do that mistake like 100 times,
You might have a memory problem.
yeah, then you're inhuman.
And Nina, on that note, where can we find you if we want to follow your music and socials and everything?
So and on Instagram, it's at Nina Rose Musica with an A at the end of music. And then Facebook as well, Nina Rose Musica.
We'll pop them up as well on the
Yeah,
podcast, the
and
links.
I do have the EP that Valentina was talking about, Patterns. That's up on Bandcamp.
Yep.
Um,
And everyone
yeah.
can buy it from them.
yes, you can buy it from there. And I do have Nina. My sister's been working on a website for me, ninarosemusic.com.au. I think that's it.
I think that's one I saw.
Yes.
I think, yeah.
Yeah. And I try and put, upcoming gigs and stuff on that too.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how many people check that. Probably just one.
Well, you know, my website is my driver for everything. That's the first go-to for me. Then the socials come after that. So
your website's the first
yeah.
one.
So I actually sell all my stuff on my website.
Yep.
So that's where my driver is. From the website, they can get to other
Yep.
things and other bits
Yep.
and pieces. But that's my driver. That's my go-to. That's the hub for me.
Yep.
Other people use socials. Other people use platforms like Spotify and everything like that. It really depends on how you want to drive your musical journey and how do you want your fans to
Yeah,
go through
and
that
thinking
journey.
about whoever's listening to music, what are they most likely going to access easily? You know, are they going to buy CDs, or are they only going to be doing things online? So would Spotify be better, or
that's a big question. That's a very important question for musicians, and I think everyone's got a different philosophy and a different take on that. For now, I'm not selling, or I haven't gone with my album. I haven't gone on any platform. I'm selling it through my website. And there are artists out there who have done the same, and they're quite successful. I think you need to offer something else to your fans as well, not just the music. Like people are merchandising through their website, and it depends on how big your fan base, if you've got one. I think the most important thing is once they are on your website, to get them to stay on your website and to shop around maybe, or to see what's going on. Because if you're updating, you're updating your socials, and that's fine, and you're posting videos and stuff like that. But I think if you do the same on your website and you, because the way I see the website is what you want to be offering people. And the people who want to listen to you and want to see where you are and where you're going to play. The socials is very it's interactive. Like you're going to post something and then they're going to post back and everything backwards and forwards. But I think the website gives you a more professional thing, especially for a musician or an artist. Just this is what I am. This is my bio. This is everything. This is everything that I am. This is who I am. This is what I'm going to be playing next. This is what I've got. This is what I'm offering. That's the hub. If people want to have a chat or message you or whatever, that's a different story. But if they want to see where you are, where you're performing, what you're doing, like at the moment, I need to update all my socials and my website. I'm like doing 4 different recording projects at the moment. So it's good to have that on your website as well.
Yeah.
All the projects, all the people that you're working with, you're
Yeah.
collaborating with, because then, you got that interaction and people can actually go and see what you're doing.
Yeah.
And people are more interested in what you're doing as well, not scrolling through
Yeah.
all this other stuff,
And
That's how I see it.
I think as well, when you're applying for particular gigs, or if you're applying for festivals or
grants.
applying for grants, the website is really important to have
First and
all
foremost.
that information there, some photos, some videos,
Yep.
a place to go to see it all.
And an easy navigating one too, and an easy learning one too. You have to really be careful about that, not cluttering your
Yes.
website. But that's probably another conversation to have.
Yes.
And we'll bring you back on that conversation maybe. But it's something that you do as a passion. Music you do, and you're very passionate about what you do, and you wanna show people. You wanna bring people along to that journey, and I think we're all in the same boat. And at the end of the day, you wanna
Finesse the flow.
finesse the flow. Yeah, I like that one from the last podcast. It's going to be our motto from now. Finesse the flow.
Could make it into a little jingle.
Yeah.
Finesse the flow. Finesse the flow. Finesse the flow.
Now it sounds like a commercial for.
Oh, hair. Oh,
For like
hair.
I was going to say
Absolute.
something else, but that's
The flow is that like
no.
a diuretic.
Well, yeah, no.
I
we
thought
won't go down
Pepsi,
that.
but
We won't go there. Nina, thank you so much.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thanks for coming
Thanks
in.
so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for having
and we're really happy that you came to this podcast and to this episode. Really, especially with the second one with Amla.
With the second one.
with Amla. But it's good to get a bit of an insight into your journey and into your musical background and everything like that. Wishing you all the very best from us as well, and hopefully we can have a bit of a jam together sometime and do a gig together or something. You know,
That sounds great. And I was going to say, I know lots of different musicians around Melbourne, so I feel like I'm going to put my thinking cap on and think of other people you can interview.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. We're open
Yeah.
to, you
Open
know,
for business.
open to anyone coming in. And we want to, the whole point of this podcast is to help the musicians grow and help us, the industry as much as we can, especially the Melbourne musicians. It's not easy. It's not something that happens all the time as well. You know, good gigs and gigs in general are, they're very hard to organise these days, and it's very hard to get that reward back. So we want to. This podcast has always been about supporting the musician and getting them as much as possible the exposure, and just having a chat with them and getting down to, you know, who the person's like, who the person is, what they like, and that's always been the whole driver of this podcast. So thanks once again.
No worries.
Thank you.
I think it's the first time I've been on a podcast, so this is very exciting.
Oh.
Definitely not the last.
No.
We're gonna see Nina's podcast soon.
I'm thinking,
Look, the more podcasts we have about this, the better. The more we can interview
Yeah,
each other, the
of
more
course.
the more it happens in and around the music scene. The more it's out there, the more people can go and see people play and go to these gigs and support the musicians. The better it's going to be for all of us. You know, it's all about that knowledge and giving back and helping and just being that musician that plays for the people and plays because they love music, and that's what it's all about.
yeah, exactly.
You know, that's us.
And we are pretty damn lucky to be in Melbourne, which is such a thriving music scene.
It
Even
is.
though there are some challenges, it's very difficult.
Definitely.
There's so many amazing musicians, so many amazing projects going on. Like any night of the week, we could go find
Yeah.
music to go, live music.
But it's always been like that.
Yeah,
Even me as growing up
cool.
in this great city, me growing up, there's always been somewhere to go and someone to listen to. Always, all sorts of genres,
Yeah.
everything. So
Yeah.
it's always been a melting pot, and that's why a lot of musicians have actually moved from other parts of Australia to Melbourne in
Yes.
the past, and they still do. But again, yes. But again, you know, we need to support. We need to support all the musicians, and we're in it. We're all in it together.
Yep.
And we want to produce some really good stuff, whether it's recording, whether it's live gigging, whether it's something. It just support the musicians. It's a very good cause. Music makes people, you know, feel good or feel bad sometimes. It depends on
Makes us feel.
it makes us feel. It's very part of our everyday lives. Like people are always listening to something. People are always you know, watching something on YouTube that, you know, is music based. So hopefully we can just continue driving that thing and just putting as much as we can, as much as help as we can to into the industry and supporting these musicians and these awesome people as well. Not only musicians, but they're awesome people as well. So Nina, thanks once again.
Yay.
Thank you.
No worries. Till next time. See you later.
Bye.
Well, there were mountains rolling, that much I do recall. The kind of mountains that can make even the brave ones feel small. You lay me in the water, you tell me this is holy water. Look around before your dreams lead your head to the floor. You will be my constant love forever and a day. Oh, you can skip forward or rewind. Some Summer sort over standard time. What do you say? Hey, 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 hey. What do you say?
The Strike A Chord Podcast, presented to you by valentinaflamenco.com and amlamusic.com.